What if I told you, right now, that the life you dream of is waiting, but only if you dare to face the brutal truths you've been running from? The moment you stop pretending, the moment you accept the cold, hard facts of your existence, your mindset will never be the same. This is not for the faint-hearted. This is for the man ready to confront reality head on and carve his destiny from it. Because here's the truth. Life isn't fair. It never promised you a golden ticket. It promised struggle. It promised pain. But it also promised power for those who can bear the weight of these 10 harsh truths. By the end of this, you will see yourself stripped bare, yet stronger. You will see the chains that bind you and how to break them. Let's begin. No one owes you anything. This is a truth so brutal, so raw, that most men recoil from it, clutching tightly to their illusions of fairness and entitlement. But life doesn't bend to our sense of justice. The universe is indifferent to your wants and your needs. It gives nothing freely, except to those who earn it with sweat, sacrifice, and relentless effort. Imagine Andrew Carnegie, a man born into a poor family in Scotland, who arrived in America with nothing but a will of iron. He did not wait for charity or handouts. He did not ask the world to pave a golden road for him. Instead, he carved his own path, starting as a lowly telegraph messenger boy and rising to become one of the richest men in history. Carnegie understood that the world owes you nothing. Your success is your own responsibility. Psychologically, this truth forces a man out of the victim mindset, the place where many become prisoners of their own excuses. When you expect others to give you something, you surrender your power. You place your happiness, your security, your future in the hands of forces outside your control. This breeds frustration, resentment, and helplessness. But when you accept that no one owes you a thing, you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for permission, for opportunity, for a break. You become the architect of your own life. This shift is the cornerstone of true mastery. It is the moment a man steps off the sidelines and into the arena, ready to fight for what he desires. Look deeper at history, and you'll see this truth reflected over and over. Oprah Winfrey was born into poverty, abused and neglected. Yet she never waited for the world to hand her a chance. She fought tooth and nail for her place in the spotlight. She didn't ask why me, but rather, what can I do to change my story? This question separates the powerless from the powerful. It's a question that demands action, not excuses. Emotionally, accepting this truth can feel like a crushing weight. It feels like being left alone in a storm without shelter. But it is exactly in this isolation, this stark reality, that your strength is forged. When you realize no one is coming to save you, you learn to save yourself. You discover reserves of courage and resilience you never knew existed, and that is a freedom more valuable than any gift handed to you. This truth is a call to arms, a demand that you rise above entitlement and embrace responsibility. It challenges you to stop blaming your circumstances, your background, or your upbringing, because no matter who you are or where you come from, your destiny is in your hands. No one owes you anything. And that, paradoxically, is the greatest gift life can give you, the gift of complete ownership over your future. The moment you accept this, you will no longer be a passenger in your own life. You will become the driver, the creator, the man you were meant to be. Failure is the only way to learn. This is a truth that every man must embrace if he is to rise beyond mediocrity and claim his rightful place among the victorious. Yet failure is feared, avoided, and disguised, a shadow many refuse to face. But make no mistake, failure is not the enemy. It is the foundation upon which all success is built. The greatest men in history did not stumble blindly. They stumbled deliberately. They fell with purpose, rising each time with greater knowledge and sharper resolve. Thomas Edison, the man who lit the world with the electric bulb, failed over 1,000 times before he found the answer. When asked about his failures, he did not see them as setbacks, but as lessons, proof of paths that would not lead to success. I have not failed, he said. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. The psychological reality behind failure is profound. When you fail, your mind is forced to confront its limits. You are stripped of illusion and forced to search for deeper truths. Failure ignites reflection and fuels innovation. It is a brutal teacher, yes, but also the most honest. The moment a man allows failure to define him, to stop him, he resigns himself to a life of stagnation. But when failure is embraced as a necessary step in the process, it becomes a tool of transformation. It cracks open the door to growth, breaking the chains of comfort and familiarity. Every failure is a message from reality, telling you where you must improve, where you must adapt, and where you must fight harder. Look to the life of Michael Jordan, often regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time. Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team, a moment that could have destroyed any young man's dreams, instead ignited a fire within him. He used that failure, not as a mark of defeat, but as fuel for his relentless pursuit of excellence. His failures on the court, the missed shots, the lost games, they were all part of the process that shaped his legend. If he had surrendered to those moments of failure, history would have been robbed of his greatness. Emotionally, failure cuts deep, because it bruises pride and shatters comfort. The fear of failure traps many men in a cage of inaction, paralyzing their potential. But understand this, the pain of failure is temporary. The pain of regret is eternal. It is far worse to look back and wish you had tried than to fail trying. Every scar from failure is a badge of honor, a sign that you dared greatly and fought the hard fight. This truth demands a radical mindset shift. You must learn to welcome failure as an ally, to seek it not recklessly, but courageously, because each failure carries within it the seeds of your next success. It forces you to evolve, to refine your approach, to grow stronger, wiser and more resilient. The path to mastery is paved with setbacks. It is the man who fails and rises again, over and over, who ultimately claims victory. So ask yourself, are you willing to fail? Are you willing to face the hard truths that failure exposes? If not, you are choosing comfort over greatness, illusion over reality. But if you accept failure as the only way to learn, you step into the arena of the brave, and nothing will be able to stop you. Remember, the man who never fails is the man who never tries, and the man who never tries will never know the taste of true success. Your time is your most precious asset. This is a reality too many men ignore until it slips through their fingers like sand, leaving behind only regret. Time is the great equalizer. No man, no matter his wealth, status or power, can buy it, borrow it, or stop it. It moves relentlessly forward, indifferent to your plans, your excuses, or your desire. Benjamin Franklin, one of history's greatest minds, and a man who mastered his own destiny, famously said, "Lost time is never found again." This was no idle phrase, but a profound declaration of the value of every single moment. Franklin's life was a testament to guarding time as fiercely as a warrior guards his sword. He scheduled every hour, every minute, knowing that the way he spent his time was the way he shaped his legacy. Psychologically, many men fall victim to the illusion that time is abundant, that there will always be tomorrow or later. This mindset breeds procrastination and waste. The truth is, every second spent on trivial distractions, every hour given away to meaningless pursuits, is time stolen from your future self. It is time that could have been spent building, learning, growing, or healing. Time wasted is opportunity lost. Worse, it is an invisible thief that quietly steals your potential. The mind deceives you into believing there's plenty of time, but life is fragile, unpredictable, and fleeting. Once a moment passes, it is gone forever. Look at the lives of great men who understood this better than anyone. Steve Jobs, the visionary behind Apple, often spoke about the importance of valuing time. Facing his mortality, he urged people to live each day as if it were their last, to cut away the trivial and focus on what truly matters. His urgency and clarity came from knowing that time is finite, and how it's used defines the quality of life itself. Emotionally, the sting of lost time cuts deep. When you realize you cannot rewind the clock, it evokes a haunting sense of failure, not because of what you didn't do, but because of what you chose to waste. This is a call to wakefulness, a call to become fiercely protective of your hours and minutes. Every moment is a seed that can grow into greatness if planted with intention, or it can wither in the soil of neglect. This truth demands discipline. It requires you to evaluate where your time goes daily. Are you pouring your energy into distractions, endless scrolling, or comfort that suffocates your ambition? Or are you investing your time in mastering your craft, building meaningful relationships, and pushing toward your goal? The choices you make now about time will echo through your entire life. So here is your challenge. Start tracking your time as though it were gold, because it is. Eliminate the non-essential. Focus on the vital few actions that produce the greatest result. Remember, the way you spend your time is the way you spend your life. The harsh truth is this: you cannot create more time, but you can control how you use it. And that control is power. Own your time, or it will own you. When you understand that your most precious asset is slipping away every second, you will begin to live, not just exist. This is the secret to mastery, to achievement, to becoming the man who does not waste a single heartbeat of his life. You cannot control others, only yourself. This is a truth as liberating as it is unsettling, because most men waste endless energy trying to bend the world to their will. Yet the world is a wild storm, unpredictable and untamed, and no man can command the winds or calm the seas of others' choice. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, understood this better than anyone. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the cornerstone of true mastery, accepting that the only realm you can govern is your own mind, your own actions, and your own responses. Psychologically, the need to control others is born from fear, a fear of uncertainty, of vulnerability, of losing power. But this need traps men in a cycle of frustration and disappointment. You cannot force someone to think like you, to act the way you want, or to feel what you expect. Attempting to do so only drains your energy and clouds your judgment. When you invest your power in controlling others, you give away your sovereignty. You become a prisoner of their decisions, their moods, their failures. Look at the life of Nelson Mandela, a man who spent 27 years imprisoned under brutal conditions. He could not control the actions of his captors, the political forces against him, or the tides of apartheid. What he controlled was himself, his mind, his spirit, and his vision. By mastering his own response to the harshest circumstances, he became a beacon of hope and ultimately a leader who transformed a nation. Mandela's power was not in changing others but in changing himself, holding firm to his values and refusing to be broken. Emotionally, this truth forces you to relinquish control over what you may have tightly gripped for years: relationships, opinions, outcomes. It can feel like surrender, but it is not weakness. It is wisdom. The peace that comes from knowing you are not responsible for others' actions is profound. It frees you to focus on what truly matters: your integrity, your effort, and your growth. You learn to respond rather than react, to act with intention rather than desperation. This truth demands a shift from external validation to internal authority. When you stop demanding the world to conform to your desires, you reclaim your power to shape your own reality. You stop chasing approval, stop wrestling with disappointment, and start living with clarity and purpose. The only battlefield worth fighting on is within yourself. So here is your challenge. Examine where you are wasting your strength, trying to control what cannot be controlled. Are you trying to fix others' opinions, manipulate outcomes, change what is outside your power? Begin today to turn that energy inward. Master your emotions, own your decision, cultivate your character, because the man who governs himself is unstoppable. Remember, control is an illusion outside your mind but a reality within it. The moment you accept this, you become unshakable. You no longer drown in the chaos around you. You rise above it, steady and sovereign. The world will always be wild, but you can be the calm in the storm. And that is true power. Comfort is the enemy of progress. This is a truth that echoes through the halls of every great achievement, yet it remains the silent assassin of potential for most men. Comfort lulls the mind into complacency, numbing ambition, and blinding a man to the urgent call of growth. It wraps you in a soft, deceptive blanket, whispering lies of safety and satisfaction. But beneath that warm illusion lies stagnation, a slow death to dreams, a betrayal of your own destiny. Look at the life of Michael Jordan. He was cut from his high school basketball team, a failure that would have crushed any man who sought comfort over challenge. Instead of retreating to ease, Jordan embraced discomfort. He used rejection as fuel, pushing beyond limits in relentless practice, training his mind and body to endure pain, fatigue, and doubt. Jordan's greatness was born not from ease but from the furnace of struggle. Comfort would have killed his dreams before they took flight. Psychologically, humans are wired to seek comfort. It's a survival instinct, a mechanism to protect against pain and danger. But modern life has twisted this instinct into a prison. We seek comfort in distractions, in routines, in avoiding anything that shakes our fragile sense of security. Yet comfort is a subtle enemy. It seduces you into a slow decline, a life half-lived. It erodes resilience and creativity. It breeds fear, fear of failure, fear of change, fear of the unknown. Emotionally, comfort feels good, but beneath that comfort lies a deeper pain, the ache of unfulfilled potential. It is a silent scream that grows louder with every moment spent in stagnation. The man who chooses comfort over challenge trades the thrill of becoming for the dullness of existence. He watches from the sidelines as others risk everything and rise, while he remains safe, small and unseen. This truth demands courage, a radical willingness to step into discomfort, to seek it out deliberately. Growth requires sacrifice. It demands that you face uncertainty and embrace the struggle. Without discomfort there is no transformation. The bamboo tree for years grows roots beneath the earth, invisible and silent. Then suddenly, it shoots skyward at an astonishing rate. That sudden growth comes from years of unseen discomfort and struggle below the surface. So here is your challenge. Identify where comfort has become your cage. What routines, habits, or fears are holding you hostage? What safety nets are strangling your ambition? Choose today to break free. Do one thing that unsettles you. Face a fear. Push beyond the known. Because the moment you step outside comfort, you step into power. Progress is born in that uncomfortable space, in the fire of challenge, in the refusal to settle. The man who conquers comfort conquers himself, and in that conquest lies the path to greatness. Remember, comfort is a slow poison. Progress is a fierce flame. Choose which will define your life. Choose to burn bright or fade away. The choice is yours, and yours alone. Success is a marathon, not a sprint. This is a truth that many men fail to grasp, seduced instead by the illusions of instant gratification and overnight triumph. The world's greatest achievements are never rushed. They are forged slowly through relentless persistence, unwavering patience, and an unbreakable commitment to the long game. The bamboo tree spends years growing its roots beneath the soil in silence, before shooting up to incredible heights in a matter of weeks. That sudden burst of growth is not a miracle, but the result of patient, unseen labor. Success requires planting deep roots and nurturing them over time. Psychologically, the human mind craves immediate results. We live in an age of speed, where attention spans shrink and impatience grows. This impatience leads many to quit when progress seems slow or invisible. But true success demands endurance. It demands that you outlast doubt, fear, and fatigue. The moment you understand success as a marathon, you shed the dangerous expectation that every day must bring dramatic results. Instead, you learn to embrace the slow accumulation of small wins, the quiet victories that build character and skill. Look at the life of Abraham Lincoln, one of the most revered leaders in history. Lincoln faced defeat after defeat, lost elections, failed businesses, and harsh personal tragedies. Yet he never surrendered to despair or rushed the process. His journey was long, fraught with setbacks, but his steady, persistent effort eventually led him to the presidency and the preservation of a nation. His success was not a sprint, but a steady, painful climb. Emotionally, this truth is often difficult to accept, because it conflicts with our desire for instant validation. Waiting is painful. Progress is often invisible. But patience builds resilience and wisdom. It teaches you to trust the process, even when the results are hidden. The man who understands this becomes impervious to discouragement, learning that every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. This truth demands a mindset shift from urgency to persistence. You must commit not just to a goal, but to the journey itself, the daily grind, the sacrifices, the endless repetition of effort. Success is born in routine and discipline, not bursts of inspiration. The marathon runner knows that the race is won by steady pacing, by conserving energy, and by focusing on each mile ahead, not the finish line. So here is your challenge. Are you ready to embrace the slow, steady path, to commit to your goal not for days or months, but for years, to endure discomfort, delay gratification, and persist through setbacks? The greatest achievements belong to those who outlast the crowd, who refuse to quit when the path gets hard. Remember, success is not a quick dash, but a lifelong journey. The man who runs a marathon understands that the finish line is far, but every step forward is progress. The moment you internalize this truth, you gain a power few possess, the power of endurance. And with endurance, nothing can stop you. Your mindset determines your reality. This is the unshakable truth that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, the dreamers from the achievers. Napoleon Hill said it best. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Yet, this principle is more than just a motivational phrase. It is the foundation upon which every success, every failure, every triumph, and every tragedy is built. The world you live in is a reflection of the thoughts you harbor in your mind. Change your thoughts, and you change the world you experience. Psychologically, the mind is a powerful filter, shaping perception and steering behavior. When a man believes he is capable, worthy, and destined for greatness, his actions align with that belief. His eyes spot opportunities where others see obstacles. His mind crafts solutions where others see problems. Conversely, a mind clouded by doubt, fear, or defeat projects a reality of limitations and despair. It becomes a prison, locking the man inside a world of his own making. This is not mere speculation, but a proven fact validated by countless studies in psychology and neuroscience. Your beliefs literally shape your brain's pathways, your habits, and ultimately your destiny. Look at the story of Henry Ford, a man who revolutionized the automobile industry, not because he had the best resources or knowledge at the start, but because he believed profoundly in the possibility of affordable cars for the masses. When his first ventures failed, many would have given up. Ford's mindset was unyielding. He told his team, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right." This mindset shaped his reality and propelled him to build one of the most influential companies in history. Emotionally, your mindset is the lens through which you view yourself and the world. It colors your confidence, your resilience, your willingness to take risks. A positive, growth-oriented mindset empowers a man to rise after failure, to persist through hardship, and to pursue his vision with relentless faith. On the other hand, a fixed, negative mindset breeds fear, resignation, and inaction. The battle for your mind is the battle for your life. Control your thoughts, and you control your fate. This truth demands rigorous self-awareness and discipline. You must become the guardian of your mind, vigilant against toxic beliefs, limiting self-talk and negative influences. Cultivate thoughts of possibility, strength, and abundance. Feed your mind daily with affirmations, wisdom, and vision. When you face doubt, remind yourself that your beliefs are choices, not facts. Choose the mindset that serves your highest good. So here is your challenge. Examine the narratives you tell yourself. Are they lifting you toward greatness or dragging you into mediocrity? Are you feeding your mind with thoughts of victory or defeat? Begin today to reprogram your mind for success. Speak words of power to yourself. Visualize your goals as realities. Reject the lies of fear and scarcity. Remember, your reality is not shaped by circumstance, but by your mindset. The man who masters his mind commands his destiny. The moment you realize that your thoughts are the architects of your life, you step into a realm of limitless possibility. Change your mind, change your world, and in that transformation lies your true power. You are defined by your habits. This simple yet profound truth is the foundation upon which character is built and destiny is shaped. Napoleon Hill understood that excellence is not an act, but a habit, a pattern repeated until it becomes an inseparable part of who you are. Every great man in history is the sum of his daily choices, the product of his routines, and the outcome of the small actions he took when no one was watching. Your habits are the invisible architecture of your life, quietly constructing your future moment by moment. Psychologically, habits shape the brain's wiring. The repeated actions create neural pathways that become automatic responses. This is why a man can work tirelessly on his goals or remain stuck in destructive cycles, because his habits either propel him forward or drag him down. The great challenge is that habits often operate beneath conscious awareness, like the autopilot of a plane, carrying you through life along a set course. To change your life, you must first change your habit. Consider the example of Aristotle, the ancient philosopher who said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. This wisdom echoes through time because it is undeniable. A man who wakes early, reads daily, and exercises consistently is creating a reality of strength, knowledge, and discipline. Conversely, a man who neglects his body, fills his mind with distractions, and procrastinates builds a very different reality, one of weakness, ignorance, and missed opportunities. Emotionally, Habits form the fabric of identity. When you act according to your values repeatedly, you build self-respect and confidence. Each good habit reinforces a positive self-image, and that image becomes a compass guiding future decisions. The opposite is true as well. Bad habits erode self-esteem, foster regret, and chain you to mediocrity. The battle for your future is fought in the trenches of daily routine. Look at the story of James Clear, a modern expert on habits and human behavior. He teaches that transformation doesn't come from grand gestures, but from tiny changes compounded over time. A man who reads 1 page a day will eventually finish many books. A man who saves a little money consistently will build wealth. These small habits, seemingly insignificant alone, create unstoppable momentum when compounded. This truth demands intentionality. You must examine your daily rituals and decide which habits serve your highest goals and which sabotage them. The process of habit change is not quick or easy. It requires patience, repetition, and unwavering commitment. But the reward is mastery over your own life. So here is your challenge. Identify one destructive habit that is holding you back and replace it with a constructive one. Begin small. Be consistent. Use every day as an opportunity to become the man you want to be. Remember, your habits are the silent architects of your destiny. The man who controls his habits controls his life. The moment you realize this power, you step into the role of creator, not victim of your future. Build your habits wisely, and you build a legacy that lasts. The world will try to break you. This is not a cruel exaggeration, but an unavoidable reality for every man who dares to live fully and pursue greatness. Life is a battlefield filled with trials, betrayals, setbacks, and pain. The forces that surround you, circumstances, other people's doubts, failures, are designed not to help you, but to test the strength of your spirit. It is the way of the world to challenge every man, to push him to the edge, and to demand he either break or rise. This truth is harsh, but embracing it is the first step toward true power. Psychologically, the world's attempts to break you ignite your deepest fears: fear of rejection, failure, and loneliness. These forces chip away at confidence and self-worth. Yet this pressure is a crucible, like fire that forges steel. The adversities you face forge your character. The mind can bend or break, but it is in resisting the break that the greatest strength is found. When you understand that struggle is inevitable, you no longer waste energy fighting the inevitable, but focus on building resilience and fortitude. Look at Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years imprisoned, isolated from his family, and stripped of freedom. The world tried every tactic to crush him: harsh labor, deprivation, and endless humiliation. Yet Mandela's spirit remained unbroken, because he understood that the world's attacks were tests, not judgment. He used the darkest moments to cultivate patience, hope, and unwavering commitment to justice. His resilience transformed him from prisoner to president, a leader who changed the course of history. Emotionally, this truth is brutal to accept, because it demands courage and endurance beyond comfort. The pain of betrayal, failure, and loss cuts deep. But pain is not the enemy, it is a sign of growth. It signals you are moving forward, that you are stepping into territories where comfort cannot reach. The man who refuses to be broken learns to dance with pain, to use it as fuel rather than a shackle. This truth demands a mindset shift, from victimhood to warriorhood. You must expect hardship and welcome it as an opportunity to prove your strength. When the world pushes you down, the question is not why, but how you will rise. Every setback is a call to action, every failure a lesson. The man who lets the world break him is weak. The man who breaks the world's attempt to break him is unstoppable. So here is your challenge. Prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for the battles ahead. When adversity strikes, and it will stand firm, refuse to surrender. Remember that the strongest steel is forged in the hottest fire. Your character is built not in comfort, but in the fight against hardship. Remember, the world will try to break you. It tests every man, but the true measure of a man is how he responds. Will you break and fade away, or will you rise stronger and fiercer than ever before? The choice is yours, and yours alone. Embrace the struggle, because in that embrace lies your greatest power. True power comes from within. This is the ultimate secret that the world's greatest men have understood across centuries and civilization. It is not wealth, not status, not influence from others that grants a man true power. Those are mere shadows. fleeting and dependent on external forces beyond your control. Real power is born in the quiet chambers of your own mind, in the mastery of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Napoleon Hill taught that self-mastery is the foundation of all success and fulfillment. Without control over oneself, no external victory is lasting. Psychologically, the quest for power often misleads men to chase things outside themselves. Money, fame, authority, hoping these will fill the emptiness within. Yet such power is fragile, easily lost, and often a source of anxiety and conflict. True power, by contrast, is an inner fortress. It is the ability to govern your impulses, to remain steady amid chaos, to choose your responses, regardless of circumstance. It is the strength to stand alone, unmoved by the shifting tides of public opinion or fortune. Look to the life of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, a man born into slavery who understood that freedom is not external but internal. He taught that no one can harm you without your consent. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius lived by the same truth, commanding the vast Roman Empire, yet focused primarily on mastering his own mind. Their power was unshakable, because it was grounded within, a power no one could take from them. Emotionally, owning this power brings profound peace and confidence. When you realize that your worth and strength are not tied to others' approval or material gain, you become unbreakable. Challenges no longer intimidate you, because you know your true power is not dependent on outcome, but on your ability to control your mind and heart. This internal mastery transforms fear into courage, doubt into conviction, and weakness into resilience. This truth demands daily discipline and self-awareness. It requires you to confront your fears, your desires, and your shadows with brutal honesty. It asks you to practice restraint when the world tempts you to react, to cultivate patience when the world demands instant gratification. True power is forged in the daily choices to act with integrity, to think clearly, and to govern your emotions. So here is your challenge. Begin the journey inward. Practice self-mastery in small ways. Control your temper. Choose your thoughts. Align your actions with your values. The man who masters himself is a king in any circumstance. He does not seek power outside because he is already powerful within. Remember, true power is a flame lit from within. It is not given, borrowed, or taken. It is created through discipline, courage, and wisdom. The moment you realize this, you become the master of your destiny, unstoppable and free. The world can shake your body, but never your spirit. That is true power.